Here's a quick rundown of what you're going to need. Matte acrylic finisher to seal all your paint. Too Hard is really going to help you paint the eyelets. Of course, you always want to prep your surface with Angelus Deglazer. Couple mixing jars. Black, Georgia Peach, flat white, mixed with some shadow gray so we can get this color gray on the custom. Let's go ahead and start with the first step, of course, which is tape. Alright guys, so as you guys can see, this is where the custom's going to be with your pair of White Cement 3's. Kind of like I covered all the supplies we have, the first thing we're going to need to do is tape up the uppers because we don't want to risk getting any of the deglazer on the upper. So I'll go ahead and throw the time lapse on and get these bad boys taped up, and you know, let's just start with that. I went ahead and cut out some masking tape and try to jimmy rig it the best I could to cover up these air bubbles. And then really just want to kind of put some tape along the top here so we don't risk getting paint on the elephant print. And then what we're going to grab is this product right here. Angelus Deglazer. It's crucial that you get most of this top coat off the midsole because we're going to need the paint to adhere to the midsole. Let's get these midsoles prepped and scrub off a lot of this top layer of paint. Alright, so we finally removed most of the paint from the midsole, which is really important because having a clean surface for the paint to really stick to is crucial. So now what we'll do is, as you guys can see, my hands have a lot of paint on it. So I'm going to go ahead and go wash my hands so I don't transfer that onto the upper here. And then the next thing we want to do is pull all this tape off. Really kind of get these fine edges, scrub all that off, and then we're going to lay down another coat of tape, spray some adhesion promoter, and then we're going to go ahead and start painting these midsoles. So what we're going to go ahead and hit first is the Angelus flat white. You do a 1-to-1 ratio of Angelus white, of course, mixed with 70% alcohol. So we'll go ahead and load this up in the airbrush and start that process. Alright, so we got the heel tab all painted up. As you guys can see, it's looking good. So really the next step we want to focus on are these eyelets right here. So these eyelets are plastic. So a couple things you need to remember is you want to always sand that surface really to kind of just give that plastic a little bit more texture. That way the paint's going to have something to really kind of grab onto. So you can always use just sandpaper with your hand. I use my Dremel tool, and there's this little fine tip that came with it. Kind of run over those a few times and give it some texture. And then your paint mixture, what's really important to do is you want to do your Georgia Peach. With that, you want to do this product right here. It's called Too Hard. So what does Too Hard do and why is it important? Too Hard is going to help your paint become a lot more durable and wearable. Really, it's going to make it hard and rigid for surfaces like plastic where your laces are going to be going through there. It's really going to make it just be a lot more durable. So I'll go ahead and sand the eyelets down, and then we'll go ahead and start painting it with the Georgia Peach and the Too Hard mixture through the airbrush and lay some coats down. Alright, there we go. We got the eyelets painted black instead of red. So those are all ready. Now comes the panels, right? So your mixture in your jar is simple. You want to have 1 part rubbing alcohol, 70%, 1 part shadow gray, and then you want to have 1 part Angelus flat white. So we're going to go ahead and load up the air gun and brush some coats on. Alright, so now we're coming into the finish line, so the last thing we have to do is I went ahead and already taped up the sock liner. So we have to change this red to black. So the way you're going to do that is you want to get a fabric medium known as GAC. It's called GAC 900, you can pick it up from Michael's. So we're going to go ahead and go 1 part GAC to 1 part Angelus flat black. And now that we got it all mixed up, it's going to be almost the texture of like milk, really watery. We'll get our brush and then we'll start going to town. And I'm going to go ahead and start painting the sock liner black. Once it's painted, we got to let that thing fully dry, and then we'll heat set it with the blow dryer or the air gun. Kind of locks all that stuff in, keeping the material nice and soft, and the paint won't even rub off on socks, all that good stuff. Alright, so now comes the reveal. So we're going to go ahead and peel off a lot of this tape. If there's anything I've learned about doing customs, it's doing a really good tape job, so that if anything, you only have to add tape to certain areas to kind of help that tape job flow a little bit better. So I'm going to peel a lot of this tape off, and then really the last thing we're going to really do is hit the Jumpman with that Georgia Peach color, and then we're going to obviously seal in all the work with Angelus Matte Finisher. Super excited to show you guys the final result.